want to dedicate this song to all the lovers tonight. And I expect that might be the whole world, because everybody needs something or someone to love. When it's cold outside, who are you holding? You know, if y'all don't mind, I'd like to talk about this woman of mine. She's always complaining about me never being at home. But when I'm there, I'm broke. Telling me about the things that a girlfriend's got and what she ain't got, and she want me to go out and get them for her. But girl, I can't be in two places at one time. If you think you're lonely now, wait until tonight, girl. I'll be long gone, and you'll never find another man that'll treat you right. When I ain't there to rub your back, just remember I made it your own fact. And the skeletons come out of the closet and chase you all around your room, and the memories sail out like a ghost and dance around in a fast slow tune. If you think you're lonely now.
Anthony Joshua has now accepted all terms to fight Tyson Fury on December 3rd. His management company 258 MGT has confirmed. This was agreed upon on Friday. They added, due to the Queen's passing, it was agreed to halt all communication. We are awaiting a response.
According to Michael Benson, Anthony Joshua will be receiving a contract for the Tyson Fury fight on December 3rd very soon, Frank Warren has stated.
Testify. If you think you're lonely, lonely, lonely now, oh, you just wait until the night, girl.
According to Twitter journalist Michael Benson, Anthony Joshua has now accepted Tyson Fury's initial 60-40th split offer. Rematch clause 50-50 split if AJ wins. Fury's demanded date of December 3rd. If no contract disputes, the only issue outstanding is a broadcaster. Both have said they're open to a joint BT DAZN pay-per-view.
Ever the optimist, Eddie Hearn states the following. The Tyson Fury vs Anthony Joshua TV broadcast situation is looking extremely positive. Eddie Hearn has stated conversations between BT/DAZN in UK plus ESPN/DAZN in USA. Hearn said, "It's in everyone's interest, everybody's interest, forgive me, for the fight to take place." Indeed, but that's a lot of parties involved. Well, 3 parties to be honest with you. DAZN in the UK, DAZN in the United States, which is just one entity, and of course BT and ESPN, which in a way is kind of connected as well. So yeah, even though it seems like a lot of smaller parties, subsets, they're more or less the same thing. It's just 2 parties working towards making something happen, and I hope it does. But here's the difficulty. Remember what happened the last time? You've got Eddie Hearn making these pronouncements. Eddie Hearn said, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, you're gonna get a situation whereby maybe Warren or somebody else says, well, we had an agreement that nobody will speak to the press and stuff like that, and that's what's really causes problems right now. So you gotta be careful. You think Hearn would learn from past mistakes. Let's get this thing across the line first before you start opening your mouth, because they're going, if they want to get out of it, which I suspect ultimately when they might have tried to, because I don't think Bob Arum is on board with this. I really don't. I don't think Bob Arum's on board with this. So if they're looking for some wiggle room to get out of it, Bob Arum and Frank Warren can always point to the fact that somehow it's not their fault that Eddie Hearn, by opening his mouth, somehow innocuously sabotaged it, and they can't move any further. They can't go forward because some people's feelings are hurt. Like what Deontay Wilder did. You know what I'm saying? By claiming that Eddie Hearn hurt his feelings by saying he came from Alabama. They might as well have called him nigger or some shit like that.
No way to be denied. My heart wishing, baby, I was there to hold you tight. It's a love mission, yeah. And ain't no way to stop this man tonight. Cross town.
A randomly selected tweet off Boxing's Twitter universe states the following. Fury fans and media, more concerned about credentials than integrity, have allowed Fury to abduct Usyk for undisputed and fight the man Usyk beat twice. Really hope AJ KOs this fraud.
And the hustling crowd, ooh, baby.
In response, some members of the Tyson Fury Defense Brigade on Twitter, a natural branch off from the now defunct English Defense League, state the following. Who says Fury won't maul Usyk like he did Cunningham? Cunningham was a cruiser champ who moved a lot like Usyk. Fury even got dropped and still mauled him.
And ain't no way to be denied. My heart was
Keep on crying, Dossa.
I was there to hold you tight. It's a love mission, yeah. And ain't no way to
Laughing out loud, comparing Usyk to Cunningham for a start. For fuck's sake, how can you sit and think Usyk won't be a problem? You've got to be a biased fool to think he's got no chance. But Fury does that to you all. Got you mesmerized by his height. Frank Warren on Tyson Fury vs Anthony Joshua. Everybody wants it, there aren't any obstacles, so hopefully very quickly we can get it over the line. But until it's signed, it's not on the basis of the deal. 90% of what counts is okay. 10% we've got to sort out.
So Sam Jones believes that he actually thinks. Let me just quote what he's written. I actually think Fury AJ's on. I don't care about AJ's last two fights. This fight is an absolute monster. This fight is an absolute monster. Yeah, if it's on, yeah, I'm all for it. But you never know. You know what I mean? You never know. I think that there's some curveballs that are going to be thrown because it's not in the character and personality of both Fury and Warren to not want to do something. You know, I was thinking the other day, right, that when you think about it, that Fury's, well, could I call it obsession without trying to sound kind of biased? Well, you know, I think Fury's attachment to the idea of AJ and trying to break down that idea with prejudice is very similar to the kind of attraction that Donald Trump had to Barack Obama. In fact, some people say it was such a backlash against Obama, being that he was black and the president, that got Donald Trump elected, that without Obama, Donald Trump would never have got elected. And I happen to feel that without Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury would never be as popular as he is at the moment.
Brings out the fire inside. I wish that I never knew sweet surrender. This trip is blowing my mind, thinking of moments that we spent together, chasing each second inside. Boy, I have some serious problems.
So this was put up by Michael Benson. Eddie Hearn and Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. People need to realize AJ has never backed down from a fight. He signed for this fight before 2021. He accepted the fight again now. If they really want the fight will get made. He's all in. I understand a lot of that, but the other part, the very beginning, people need to realize AJ never backed down from a fight. What Eddie Hearn needs to realize is that people don't care. Nobody cares that he didn't back down from a fight. The fact of the matter is, he was paid well for those fights, and a lot of people had doubts. And when he really came down to it, I'm not saying that it's fair or we live in a fair world. He wasn't able to allay those fears or doubts. In fact, he confirmed a lot of their doubts, and even should he come back and do better, those doubts will still remain. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? I think that's his fate. Can he overcome it? Can he do better? Fine. And when you go around and you say that you're one way and then you turn out to be another way and another way, what do I mean by that? When you act as if you're this corporate gentleman and you're doing business the right way, and then you get in another interview and you start talking about drug dealers and how your mentality is like that of a drug dealer, nobody's impressed, and people are always going to side-eye you because you're full of shit. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't be like that, because of course Tyson Fury is actually associated with a person who is allegedly involved in that particular type of trade. Allegedly, I must re-emphasize, of course. Reiterate and re-emphasize. But the bottom line is this: in as much as Anthony Joshua is concerned, there is not the case that they demand it of him. That's more or less what he sold. And from time to time, he swerves away from that, and it leaves a very confused picture. And it does it sort of tongue-in-cheek, almost like he's serious, almost like he's unserious, almost as if he's playing a part. And it leaves a lot of people wanting. They want to like him. They want to believe in him. They want to believe that he's a sort of Beckham-esque character in British sport. And there are many people who want to ensure that that never happens. So for me, it is what it is. Anthony Joshua's done well. I wish him well. I hope he gets more success. But we are where we are. It's going to take an enormous amount of work to repair or rehabilitate the damage, or repair and rehabilitate Anthony Joshua and repair the damage that's been done. That's what I want to say. So for me, I really could care less what people think, but because people don't care anyway. Eddie Hearn needs to sell his man, and sometimes it does come across as if he's overselling the thing. I think that I hope this fight happens. There's no need to say people need to realize. The people that realize what Anthony Joshua means, they already do. And the people who have doubts, you're not going to convince them from here on in. You know what I mean? There was a time when you stood a chance. Now that is officially and absolutely out the window. And this is what I say when I said that Usyk fight was crucial. I don't think there are many people who are going to beat Usyk. You know what I'm saying? But he was the first person to jump in there, and once he did that, it was absolutely incumbent that he fought to the death and won. He could not afford to lose that fight, in my estimation. It is what it is.
Deontay Wilder. They made Anthony Joshua. They made him. We're born to do it, not made. Even in the Olympics, they gave him that medal. They bought a lot of the belts. The way they moved him and prepared him for certain moments, he was not ready for it. Deontay Wilder asked if he regrets accusing Tyson Fury of cheating. I stand by everything. It's crazy and sad that business had to be conducted in certain manners to rob a person of his greatness, but in reality, it only made that greatness higher. Deontay Wilder asked how to get Anthony Joshua fight made. We're gonna have to go to California and all just light one up and discuss it, man. That's a good idea. You can see Shelly Finkel passing it to Eddie Hearn, and Joshua passing it to me. That's so funny. Deontay Wilder asked if he would want a fourth fight with Tyson Fury in the future. Most definitely. As long as he's in the business and I'm in the business, it's inevitable.
In love again. Now it's time to be your friend. Learning is a better way. Falling in love is a losing game.
Bloviating Deontay Wilder gives us his thoughts on a potential fight with AJ. I still wanna whoop that ass. I'm not gonna rob the fans of not making that fight happen. I definitely want that fight. Wilder is a really slow motherfucker. He said I'm not. He's not gonna rob the fans of not making the fight happen. God, this motherfucker is dim as fuck.
The OG, Triple G.
Obsession is its name, and addiction is its game. I'm telling you, never again, never again. Obsession is its name, and addiction is its.
Alright, so these are the arrivals of Canelo Alvarez and Triple G in Vegas, I believe. You know, people are hating the crowd. Of course, it's a Vegas fight, and it's a big Vegas fight, so a lot of people, you know what I mean, there's going to be a lot of people there, a lot of Mexicans there chatting. It's a big fight. You haven't seen this type of entrance in a while, you know. But you know, there's a lot of people hating. Nobody asked for this fight. Well, you didn't ask for it. There's a lot of people who want to see it, though. I want to see it. And I think what I'm going to do next, of course, is give a preview. I'm no expert on these two, to be honest with you. I think the picture gets conflated and confused with a whole bunch of politics out there, specifically to do with Triple G and Canelo Alvarez. There used to be a time when you could actually say one is worse than the other. You know what I'm saying? You could say that Triple G was worse than Canelo Alvarez, in as much as his fan base. But nowadays, I think it's a lot more difficult to make that assessment and suggest that one party is more biased than the other. I happen to believe that whatever happens, well, actually I can't say that. I was going to say whatever happens won't make a difference. No, it will make a big difference. I think it makes a difference to people who are somewhat, whether in reality or otherwise, or whether they pretend to be emotionally invested in this fight, get some kind of or some form of closure. But I personally, I don't think it's going to provide the closure that people want. Canelo Alvarez beating Triple G is not going to give Canelo Alvarez relief from his critics, and Triple G beating Canelo Alvarez is not going to sort of rehabilitate Triple G or give us or elevate him to a status that he used to have, which he never really was able to claim, which was the number one pound for pound. It's almost like he was a shoo-in to be number one pound for pound, and the only stumbling block was Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is what prevented Triple G from becoming number one pound for pound, regardless of the fact that he stayed in one division, and his resume was questioned just like any other fighter. Never moved up, never moved down, and hardly moved sideways if it wasn't convenient. So we'll see though.
With you, I say it again.
If Triple G wins this fight, you have basically a Pacquiao-Marquez kind of a rivalry where the first fight was a draw, the second fight, controversial or not, it was a draw, and then we ended up having 3 fights afterwards. So Golovkin could easily cause a 4th fight just by winning this one, and you have something similar there. The only problem is Golovkin is 40. Right. And that's probably the whole reason why he had to wait for the 3rd fight to begin with. And so for that, from that perspective, I think there's more of a chance that this rivalry gets closed out in emphatic fashion with the Canelo knockouts than there is of Golovkin forcing a fourth fight. 40 years old is 40 years old, bro. We can talk about how this is the important fight of the rivalry, and this is the one that counts, and all this other stuff. But we don't live in a comic book. We live in real life, and people age. Aging is a real thing.
Darling, can't you see that I'm in love?
I don't understand the judges when they get in the ring under the spotlights here with these Triple G and Canelo fights, how all the close rounds seem to go to Canelo's way. Hopefully, in the third fight, they'll see it differently. Hopefully, the best result would be if Triple G wins by knockout, then he takes it out of the judges' hands, and we won't have any controversial ending.
Sing my love for you, 'cause no other can will do. My love is always better. If I only had one love, then I won't spend it. Like you told me in that letter, my love is always better.
Announced Kenshiro Teraji will face Hiroto Kyoguchi in a WBA and WBC light flyweight world title unification fight on November 1st in Japan. Jonathan Gonzalez will defend his WBO light flyweight world title versus Shokichi Iwata on the card, plus Junto Nakatani versus Francisco Rodriguez Jr. Now that was for the real hardcore boxing fan and hardcore pretender alike. 'Cause, really, to be honest, the rest of us simply don't give a fuck about Japanese boxing beyond Naoya Inoue.